Hey, good morning, everyone. How's it going? Tuesday, March 15th, 2022. Man, I'll tell you, we're just getting right with this year. Nice picture. Yeah, he sent me a couple, and he's having a lot of fun, that's for sure. Definitely enjoying it, yeah. Oh, yeah. Isn't that the truth there, Julie? You want to be there. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, Julie, Ron, Jim, Chuck, Mr. Bond, Mark. Well, here we go, another day. Another day where the market is popping up. And unless I see otherwise, pop up to maybe look for some shorts. So I think it's great we're popping up because it puts some of those shorts back in place up there a little bit, so maybe we can get some good shorts to the downside. So I think that's a good thing. I really do. Of course, there's going to be some long trades along the way. There's always a long trade somewhere if somebody's interested in a long trade. The biggest thing with that is, number one, you have to remember that if you're trading long, you're going against the overall market. Not that you can't win that trade. You just want to make sure that that's the trade that it meets it meets all your criteria except for maybe the trending market. So just keep that in mind. Sellers still own the market. Market's still in a downtrend. We can clearly see that right here. Still moving down. So until that changes, that's where the focus might want to be. For those that can't trade to the short side, or don't like to, or don't want to, or for whatever reason you don't, just remember there's those inverse ETFs that I think are just wonderful. It saved my bacon once or twice years ago. Those inverse ETFs, like SQQQ maybe, something like that. TZA maybe, something like that. So I've got those on a watch list. We'll certainly keep an eye on those if they start moving up again here. VXX here pre-market, we've got quite the shooting star going on. Anytime we have a candlestick sell signal, I always look for the following candle, maybe two candles, to be to the downside. I'll take that bet 100% of the time. There will be a couple of percent that won't be right, but overall, I think that's a winning game. Now, just because we have this candle up here pre-market does not mean that we're going to come crashing down and the VIX is just going to, pop the downside. So really what this is telling me we just might get an opportunity on a pullback. That might be a buy for anybody looking at VXX, UVXY, one of those VIX tools. It also means that the market will likely pop up just a smidgens, and that will set us up for more bearish setups. TNX, that's still climbing a little bit. I think it's down a little bit here. This won't show up on TC2000 pre-market, but I think it's down a little bit. So if it starts to move down, that will be helpful for the market. All right, so let's do this. I've got a lot of stocks here, and there's no way I'm going to get through them all. So what I'm going to do is we're going to look for 3 shorts, and then I'm going to go flip this around and look for 3 longs. If you would like to see the entire list, and the entire list is about 17 that I'm adding to the watch list, and some of them may already be on the watch list, okay? You can go to the Hit Run Candlesticks blog. They are put there early this morning. And in fact, if you have the app, if you've downloaded the app, then you're alerted to when they're posted there. And just simply go to the Hit Run Candlesticks Right Way Options homepage. And right there, you'll see the Hit Run Candlesticks blog, and feel free to click on that, read a little bit about what's going on out there, plus you'll get the full list. I do want to talk about a watch list. I think a watch list is, I think it's one of the most important things you can have in your trading toolkit, is a watch list. Because you can't, I don't think you can, I certainly can't monitor thousands of stocks. I can't monitor 500 stocks. I can't monitor 250 stocks. There's too many coming up and looking good, or, for a long or a short. There's too many that I just don't have the money to trade. And besides, I get to around in 10 positions, and I mean, that's kind of my max. There's times I get 12, 13, but boy, I'm just as nervous and can be, and they're hard to manage. So I usually, I mean, if that happens, then I'll start kicking some off. So you just can't follow everything that comes across the wire here. So creating a watch list. So what I simply do is I'll take all these lists, long or short, and I just simply copy them right here into my watch list. And my watch list is where the majority of my trades come from. The majority, not necessarily all, but the majority. So what I can do now is just keep an eye on this. Since I only trade just a couple different chart patterns, I can put anything in here I want, and they will come up when they meet the entry criteria. And the entry criteria, everybody knows, is either going to be something like a major moving average bounce, a 3/8 trap, or a 3/8 trap breakout, something like that. So creating that watch list, I think, is just, one of those things that will help traders. All right, let's go look at this. So I'm going to start with a short. Whoops, let's flag this. There we go. So let's take a look at some shorts here to start with. And HES, oil is seeing a pullback now. So a lot of people took advantage of oil when it was popping up. There's no reason why you can't take of oil, energy. There's no reason why you can't take advantage of energy to the downside. And then if and when it turns up, we can take advantage of the rally to the upside. Hess is one of those that came up early this morning, mainly because it's down below the 50-period moving average here. So what I'm going to be looking for is a failure in this area. And if if I don't get the candlestick to give me that signal, then it's not a trade for me. So it's just a chart on the watch list. It's just a chart that we can keep an eye on. And if I do get that candlestick that alerts me that it's a short, and I'm going to require it to be below the 50-period moving average, then I will look at that as short. And then nothing tells me really that energy is going to keep going down. Nothing at all. In fact, I just have to imagine that energy, the way things are right now, energy will come back up. So I'll just keep that, if I enter that short, I'll make some money on it. And then when it turns around to the long side, I'll look for that long trade. And we'll do that with several other energy charts. CLS, this would be a classic candle, what I'm looking for. Excuse me, darn it. Early in the morning, I think my voice is okay, and then I start talking. CLS is one of these charts that is giving us that candlestick that I want to look for right there. That bearish engulf, here we are on the 50-period moving average for a short. Moving down, I can see we're gapping down. So on weakness, let's put there you go. On weakness, that might be a short to the downside, especially if we get through these lows here. And you can see that there is some downside to be had here down to about that $10 range. HPE might be another one. Here we've got this blue ice failure. A blue ice failure is a fancy way of saying a bounce off a major moving average, is what it is. And I love the blue ice failure setup. I think it's one of the best shorting mechanisms out there. And this just might be setting up. So what I'm going to look for is weakness and a sell signal. And I know up here is not what you might think of as weakness, but if it moves up there and then gives us some kind of a sell signal, I mean, shooting star, evening star, could be several different candles up here, then I will look at that as a short because it makes my risk pretty small, because I know that back over that 50 period moving average just might not want to be in that chart for a short, at least not at the moment. So if it moves up, pre-market shows a few buyers there. If it moves up, that might make a nice entry on a sell signal. A sell signal can be found on an intraday chart. I'm not sure I would jump on the 15-minute, but the hourly 3-bar chart, those are great charts to look, or great time frames to look for maybe some sell signals and sell patterns. One more, and then we'll turn it over and do some longs. GT, Goodyear Tire. So Goodyear Tire had this big move to the downside. I'm not convinced this is all. Here we've got there we go, a bearish H pattern set up, and we're failing. The T line and the Trendicator is still down. So here, really, I think maybe what I might have to look at is anything inside this area might be short. I would prefer it actually to move up and then fail with a candle that I can grab a hold of. The candle might not show up on the daily chart, but it would show up maybe on the 3-bar chart or the hourly chart. All right, let's flip this thing over and flag those. There we go. mRNA. Again, I'm just going to look at 3 or 4 shorts, 3 or 4 longs, and the balance. You can go to the Hit Run Candlestick blog and check that out for a full list. You can add that to your watch list and let it come up on your setups. So mRNA here is setting up, and we've got a little bit of a bottom right in here, and now we've started to turn up. I think we've got a nice candle here on some pretty good volume, a nice inside day brewing here. Once we get over that 50 period moving average, and I'm not necessarily going to wait for that, but over that 50 looks to me like there's about a, let's do it this way. Here we go. If we were to do that right there, and just go to this top right here, this top right over here. See that right there? That's a 43% move. So something tells me that I think we're all really good traders. Okay, we have to manage the market. We have to, respect our stops, and we have to respect if we're wrong. But this looks to me like if we get over that 50 period moving average, there's a playground here that we could all make some money on. So I want to keep an eye on that. BNTX. That's another one set up that way. And that's over 100% to this top here. But let's get a little real. Let's bring this down to something that maybe we can actually consider. And so let's bring it down there. I mean, right there, I see a little bit of argument between the buyers and sellers. That's a 37% move. This looks like it's a buy right in here using the T line. The Trendicator maybe as a stop. And don't forget to use price action as a stop as well. So there's 3 ways to come up with your stop there. 3-bar chart really helps with looking for a stop, I think. But this, I think, has some good potential. XRT is next, but that's more of a short. Disney's more of a short. Let's go to Lowe's. There you go. Look at Lowe's here. So Lowe's is set up. If I do this, let me put the 200 period moving average here. So here we've got a chart that has come down to the 200 period moving average, moved up, and it really looks like it's still moving up. Now the market can get ugly, no doubt about it, and throw all bullishness right down the tube. But if Lowe's wants to move up toward that 50 period moving average, who are we to stop it? Who are we not to make money on it? Enjoy the ride as long as it works. Enjoy the ride as long as you have your stop set. As long as one of the things I'll be looking for is if the VIX is not showing any strength, then I will look for some long trades. And this might be one here. Now, this is not a ton of money. It's really not. But what I have to consider is if we break out of that 50 period moving average, what can we have? Right now, we have an inverted head and shoulders being built. Shoulder, head, shoulder, worth the watch list. Oracle. Oracle I'm watching for both long and short. Long and short. Short, it's going to have to do this. Give us a sell signal. And it could be starting right there. It could be today. It could be tomorrow. I have this on the watch list waiting for it to do something. Could be a long trade. Here we have a low, high, higher low, higher high, higher low. If this starts to move up, we get through that 50. I think the next target is going to be the 200 up here. If you're trading the stock, that's about 7-8% away. If you're trading the options, that's getting into the 15-20% away here. So I'm always going to keep my eyes on stocks like Wells Fargo and Bank of America. They're always on my watch list. And right now, we have a chart that's looking like a bounce up. If the bounce just simply went to the 50 period moving average, that's all. You're looking at 9% in there. If it fails right here, it's a perfect setup for a major moving average to the downside, the 200. So that would be like a red ice failure. So this is a perfect setup for both ways. I think one of the most important things is to have it on your watch list, have it ready to go, and have it alert that it's doing something. We'll do one more, and then I'll answer Slim's question there. Bank of America. This is also setting up low. We've got a high, higher low, higher high, higher low in here. Maybe we get a move to that 200 period moving average. Again, this is a perfect example of a chart that could give us a sell signal to the downside, and it could give us a buy signal to the upside. The key is simply to have it at your fingertips. That's the key. All righty. Slim, how do you draw? How long in that box would you hold a position? Excuse me. So, good question there, Slim. Thanks. Take mRNA as an example. Okay. Now, I'm actually going to remove all this and actually draw this again from down here. And we're going to come up to about right here. Okay. I'm going to come up to here. So, say I was to buy mRNA right here, today or tomorrow, okay? Say I was to do that. Well, I'm going to put my stop in there. And at this moment, I think my stop would be somewhere around 144.45. So as long as price stayed in this area like this, I could stay in there a long time. You know, as long as in this moving back and forth, we don't want something like this to happen. We don't want to see some, you know, big bearish engulf. That might shake me out before it dropped below, just because I don't want to see that kind of a candle. But if it's a simple little candles, then I'm okay. And then what I'm going to do, because what I'm going to do is I'm betting. I'm betting that we're going to do this before we do this. And if I'm wrong, I can get out at my stop. The buy box is just simply a way to bring the trade to your forefront. That's all it is. It's bringing the trade to your forefront. So as I'm sitting here looking at charts, I could do something like this, kill all this. So my first entry area, buy area, might be something like that right there. So I can just do that, bring it to my forefront. We can do that with a short as well, I think, if I know how. There we go, HES. So all it is keep in mind, we're putting this on our watch list, okay? And we're taking a look at it right now. So if I do the buy box on here like this, and say an hour went by, look, in an hour, you're going to look at enough charts. You're going to have some coffee, some eggs, bacon, whatever, you know. You're going to kind of forget about HES. HES is going to pop up on your alert system, and all of a sudden, all your notes are right here. And by the way, there's nothing wrong with writing notes right here too. You can do that. What a great idea. I don't need to necessarily write them. I just know I've used the buy box enough that when I put that buy box in there, that means I was looking at it. And if it's doing what I want it to do, that might make me look at it more or just get right in it. So it's just a way to create notes for yourself. Okay. So anyway, thanks everybody. I'll be back in about 15 minutes or so, and little longer than 15 minutes. And the market will be open about then, and let's just spend the day together. Thank you so much. Later.